we're not happy and we're not thriving, but we can survive.
Right.
I almost feel like maybe our addiction to social media goes one step beyond all the dopamine and all the algorithmic things. I actually am wondering lately if maybe that incredible addictive thing that it has on us could also be because we so long to be connected to the hive mind. And it gives us a sense of that, like when everybody's going this way and everybody's going that way. So it's almost like maybe it's teaching us how to be back in a hive mind.
Welcome to the Mystical Aunties podcast, everybody. I'm Elizabeth D'Alto.
And I'm Elisha Tischel.
The tagline for this show is, "For the love of all things sacred." So how are we showing that love? In a world where there aren't just an abundance of healers and spiritual practitioners, but also spiritual influencers, we wanted to team up to offer seasoned and mature insight, wisdom, and exploration on a range of topics, from healing, human behavior, somatics, and plant medicine, to communication, relationships, sexuality, spirituality, and more. With decades of experience in our respective fields, and with some trusted friends we consider the Council of Mystical Aunties, you're invited to evolve with us, go deep with us, and laugh hysterically with us, because true mystics know if you can't find the humor in all this, you're missing the best part. Let's get into the show.
Everybody, I'm so excited for our guest today. We have Chris-Anne Connolly, aka Pixie Curio, creator of so many whimsical, magical, mystical, amazing things that we're going to dive into. But Chris-Anne, you and we've been I call this like platonic flirting on the internet for, it feels like years now or something. I don't know what time is. But so there's some things I kind of know about you, but I'm not sure. And I want to ask this first. So you're a Virgo Gemini person. Where is your Virgo? Where is your Gemini?
So I'm Virgo Sun, Virgo Rising, Gemini Moon.
Oh, so we have Gemini Sun,
All kinds of
Gemini
Mercury.
Rising, and Gemini Moon, all in the same
Look
call.
at us. Yeah, because I'm the Rising. Alicia's the Sun.
I'm the Sun, and you're the Moon.
That.
Wow.
And I'm
love it.
Virgo Sun and Virgo Mercury.
So this entire podcast will be very Gemini coded.
Yeah, very mercurial, if you will.
Very
Absolutely.
mercurial. I love it.
Perfect.
Okay.
So, first of all, how many decks have you created? I know Light Seers is like the one, right? But don't you have more?
Yeah. So I did the Light Seers, the Muse Tarot, one called Tarot Curious Creatures, Sacred Creators Oracle, which was my first. And then I did like an indie one that never made it to mass production, which was called Manifest Being Seen. I had to think about that. Funny.
Isn't it? Alicia, you relate to that too. Have you like created or recorded or taught so many things? Every once in a while,
I have
someone
no
brings
idea.
something up to you,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Oh, I did that."
Yeah. I have no idea what I have made or people are accessing. I have no idea.
It's so amazing. And I ask, so something I've been doing for years since I had my first podcast is I'm not a person who goes and like deeply researches every little thing about someone. And it's not to be offensive. It's actually to be like whatever wants to emerge and come out and feels important and exciting gets to be like part of the conversation, you know? So what's like the most alive in your creative world right now? I just got on your wait list for your little handwritten, amazing looking things that you're doing.
That is bringing me all kinds of like really wild creator joy right now. The idea of doing something very analog in such an AI everything world, right? The idea of like folding these papers and handcrafting and numbering and signing things and sending them to people's homes. So I don't even really understand what that is yet. Which is, I mean, I have it in my head. I've got it on my kitchen table, but even how to describe it, because it's kind of like a lesson and it's kind of an art piece, but it's also sort of an audio thing. So that is really like I'm also a manifesting generator in human design. So it's like such a perfect thing for me because every month potentially I could just create whatever it is I want to create that month and be done with it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's really making me like I'm really excited about that right now. And it's also like magical and whimsical and gets to put us in this like little child moment where we get something and we get to open it up and it gets to be wondrous and magical. And, there's so much I think that we're missing right now in the world. Like so much of that, like we're not connected to that. So this is it's lighting me up so much. Just the idea of like, what can I do in the world right now that could make things just a little bit better? And I feel like helping people to connect with that sense of wonder and imagination will eventually lead us to something better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So good.
It does really feel like the blessing of this like AI takeover that so many people are freaking out about. I feel like shouting on the internet, like, you guys, don't freak out so bad, because this is actually going to swing those of us who are embodied and grounded and like want to be here and don't want the takeover and want to stay present and use our own brains and our hearts and things. We're all going to be more like rerouting into that,
Yeah.
I
absolutely think so too.
Elisha, what do you?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Keep going.
I was just gonna say, even from the perspective of like, as an artist who, I'm also an author, and I remember my first feeling of like, when I found out that my work had been put into the machine to make the machine to, so to be trained on it, because there was a moment where all the authors were like typing in their books to see if their book had been used to train the first kind of public versions of AI.
Oh, wow.
And I found out that sacred creators had been. Yeah, and I felt that first like, oh, how dare they? Like, my work was in there like that felt so invasive because I wasn't asked permission, and people were really freaking out. And then I kind of just came to this place of like, well, this is really interesting because this is it. This is happening. There's nothing stopping it at this point. It's happening. It's here. So just kind of sitting with the thought of, do I want this thing that's going to outlive me by probably millennia? Do I want a part of me in that? Do I want to have a part of my love or my creativity like seeding this thing that's going to happen? Or would I actually opt out? And when I thought about it, if I were asked, I probably would have opted in. So, yeah.
And I find it hopeful too. I'm not, I mean, I was going to say I'm not an AI expert, which I'm not even an AI novice. But I'm not even an AI anything. But anyway, random side note.
The only thing I know about AI are the things that
This
Elizabeth
is
tells
AI.
me
Totally
when I'm
right.
geeking out.
Yeah, totally. So, but what gives me hope to think about, right? This thing that is happening, as you said, is here. It's happening. It's going to outlive us. Well, wow, it's taking in wisdom as well as like you know what I'm saying? Like we know that it's probably been fed lots of things that we'd be like, ooh, not that. But also to get to go, oh wow, something of the beauty of wisdom, of the animist mystical relationality that really matters is also being given in that too. And so yeah, it feels like another way of like, oh, the light always makes it through. Right. It's like it's even in the places where we're like, oh, fuck technology and, we're screwing this up. And I've really been calling myself in around those places because I feel like my little gremlin and grumbly, parts can get so agitated and irritated. And, the fixer in me can just get so fixated on like what's not working and where we're fucking it all up. And so I've really been seeking and focusing on the glimmer parts and on the places where we're like, oh, okay, well, we don't really know what's happening, but also that's a good moment. So actually I feel like that's like a little marble in that bucket of like, wow, it's being fed information that's really beautiful and supportive and wise for humanity to have. So,
and even the stance, it's interesting. I've been spending more time on Threads lately, and everyone has an opinion about everything, and reminds me of that line from one of my favorite Salt and Pepper songs back in the day. Opinions are like assholes, and everybody's got one. Anyway, but I've seen people be like criticizing people who say things like, "It's here, it's happening. Like we're not stopping this runaway train," and It's interesting because it just reminds me of one of my energy mastery trainings back in the day, like literally 10 years ago at this point, where, one of the things that the teacher was teaching is everything is in the energy field first. And by the time it makes it into your thoughts, it makes it into your emotions. But by the time it's in the physical, it's in.
Yeah, it's it.
The time to handle something is before it hits the physical. So that, for me, is why I'm like, this shit's here. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
embedded enough. It's cool to see that some things are being defunded or like they're going broke or whatever, but this shit's not. I'm fully with the shit's not going anywhere. And I feel like with certain things, the sooner we could get to those places, the more we could be like, great, how are we going to engage with this in a way
Right.
that allows us to move in the world the way we still want to be moved? Like, because it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like all technology forever, like TV, radio, car, like all these things, like it comes and it changes stuff. Or maybe I'm just tired. Maybe it's perimenopause. I don't have the rage against the machine in me that I used to in some younger years. Or maybe it's with the wisdom of surrender. I don't know. What do y'all think about that?
Probably both, like all of it, right? But what I think comes with the parts of us that can't rage anymore, right? Like as your hormones start to shift, is like your focus. There is wisdom in that, where we begin to focus our energy towards where is it really gonna matter? Where can I coalesce myself, right? And one of the things I think your project, the analog project, brings up is like, okay, well, if information's going to be held over there and I don't have to do information anymore, how does that free me to be a greater creator?
Mm.
And what do I want to do with that? And now things that used to be so normal to us, like analog mail and arts and crafts with our hands, is like, wow, this is now retro. This is now, we're back to like our own cultural and like traditional arts. It's like the ancestry shortage, and we're like, okay, well, your recent ancestors, we did things where we cut stuff out and we glued it and we pasted it and then we walked to the post office, and it's like, this is now an ancestral practice of like it's like
This ancient practice from the
ancient
1900s.
Totally. I know so many of my friends are like back into collaging like we used to do when we were in high school, and it's just like, right, like, oh, there's a resurgence of these ways of bringing the creativity into our life that I'm actually finding super joyful and, yeah, enlivening and very hope-filled to be like, wow, yeah, if we don't have to be the storer of information, we have to be the disseminators of so much information. If that now has been taken off of our shoulders in a certain way, cool, I'm going to take that freedom and do something with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's not like I'm like a big fan of AI. Someone will listen to this and be like, Chris-Anne loves AI, which is nothing is further from the truth.
No.
Like, I didn't ask for it. I don't want it.
Follow her on any platform. She does not.
It's just kind of that. I think I feel the same sort of. You get to a place where you think, where is my energy best put? And yeah, it is best put in the hope side of the equation for me.
Yeah.
So I'm so curious. Well, Elisha, let me ask you first. Are you into tarot?
Am I into tarot?
Like, is it a practice of yours? Like, any
tarot is not a practice because it is, to me, super deep and, right, like it's a lot. However, I love tarot. I love the artwork with tarot decks, and I love exploring it archetypally. But in terms of like being able to read for myself, no, it's not a practice.
I was just curious. It's also something I've only ever really scratched the surface on.
Yeah.
So I'd love, Chris-Anne, like, how did that become your thing? Give us the little, whatever aspects of the origin story you feel like sharing.
Oh my gosh. I actually started with runes, to be honest with you. I was like 15. I got in trouble drinking at high school. My parents sent me off to Nova Scotia, where my grandparents were from, for the summer. And kind of as a punishment. Little did they know, like, all the kids there were just raging. Anyway.
You're like, this is so much worse.
So much worse. But I stayed in my aunt's bedroom. My aunt was 10 years older than me. And she had all of these, like, very magical, fairy, Celtic, like elves, like all of the things that were just like I got into her bedroom and I was like, oh my gosh, all the things. I've got like a whole summer of reading to do. And one of the things she had on her shelf was a set of runes. And I picked those things up, and I kid you not, I had this beautiful moment of like, oh, these are mine. Like I've had these before. I know these, just kind of this weird sense that sometimes you get when you're just, this is the right path. So I picked the runes up, and by the end of the summer, I had made my own little found beach stones and made my own set. So I found my way to all of the kind of esoteric or mystical arts through runes. And at the time, I mean, I come from an Irish Catholic, Scottish Catholic household. My parents were not into tarot. I was not allowed to have tarot. But I could do runes
That's the
because they
devil's
were
work,
these
yeah.
like weird glyphs, right? They're nobody gets
Right.
them. They're glyphs,
Right.
like they're not scary. But then I did eventually, like grade 11, I found a tarot book in my high school library, and I
Wow.
photocopied it, and I made myself like my very first like Rider-Waite-Smith, like the typical deck
Yeah.
photocopy from my high school library because I really
Amazing.
wanted to play with them and learn, but I wasn't allowed to have them in my house.
Right.
So they've come around totally though. Like my mom edited one of my guidebooks, like
Amazing.
100%.
Right.
They're on board with it now because I see it as more of a kind of the psychology of self and like self-improvement, and it's like a mirror, it's a mirror of like, what do I need to know? As much as it can be future paced, and sometimes it is, but most of the time it's just, what do I already know that that's just blocked in shadow, right? So yeah.
Beautiful.
This cracks me up. Elisha, I don't remember if I ever told the story on the podcast, but many years ago, because I was raised Catholic as well, Puerto Rican Catholics on one side and then Irish and Italian Catholics on the other side. And I remember I had an oracle deck and I was, pulling cards, doing something. I was visiting my parents. My mom walks in the room. She goes, "Tell me how this isn't sacrilegious." But here's what's cool about, both my parents have these like mystical threads that run through them that I'm like,
Mine too.
They would never call it that. My dad literally talks to dead people. Like, like everyone gets visitations. Like it's so funny, but they just will never contextualize it any way outside of what they can accept is in their beliefs,
Yeah.
But they all have these gifts. And my mom has always had this practice of if she's having a bad day or something or whatever, she'll just flip to a random page in the Bible, point to the reading and be like, this is the guidance I need today. And I'm
Bibliomancy
like,
101, right?
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm like, it's the same as what you do with the Bible. I'm just using these cards instead.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
she was like, oh, okay. Like,
So my family's the same. My family's the same. My dad literally has had a sister who was a professional psychic that was called on by like the government to help solve crimes, but I wasn't
Right.
allowed to use tarot.
Right.
right. Yeah.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
one was
It's like,
evil.
yeah, the compartmentalization is quite interesting.
Yeah.
So what's your, I know obviously like you create all these beautiful decks. Do you do readings? Have you done, was that like part of your way in? Like what's the, here, let me share where I'm asking from. I had 2 tarot readings ever in my life. One person, same dear friend of mine I recommended, and it was honestly one of the most unhinged experiences I've ever had. It was very like future oriented, even though I wasn't asking future oriented questions because I don't want stuff like that. Like, and it was so anyway, it's not that I was turned off by it, but I'm like, there's so much richness here. I'm so curious how different people use it,
Absolutely. And there are, I also want to just say before I say anything else, Alicia, you said like it feels like there's so much to know. There are a lot of people that believe that you need to know all the things about all the cards before you jump into a deck. I actually don't believe that. I actually think that you don't need to know anything about the cards, and you can still just get an intuitive hit based on what the images remind you of. So you could be like, never picked up a tarot deck before, pick up a deck, ask a question, and just simply be with like the awareness of like what's going on in my mind's eye, what's going on in that inner voice. And that takes
love
time
that.
to like really hear that part.
Yeah.
But like, what is the card reminding me of? Is there a situation or a person? And then it's like, well, how was I feeling at that time? And maybe there's a message from even that,
Great. Yeah.
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 That feels
So-
like
I do have-
dream work to me.
Yeah. I do have one one tarot deck. The Wildwood Tarot is the one that I have. I don't
Oh,
know
it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the illustrated trying to think of the guy's name that did it. It's like it's a navy blue
John
bottle, right?
Matthews.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
kind
that
of like
one. Yeah.
green. Yeah, that
Yes.
one.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
That's a
gorgeous.
good one.
But yeah, I appreciate that encouragement. Yeah.
Yeah, you should absolutely jump into that one. The images are they're so rich. There's
They
tons
are.
of intuitive information there for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, which is why I bought them. I was like, I don't know anything about tarot, but this deck really called me in with the Celtic imagery and the
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good
other
one.
world. Yeah.
Sorry, Elisha, like feel free to ask a question anytime. I obviously have a million, but you know, this is your show too. But I have another one.
I'm an open book.
What'd you say? Oh,
I'm an open book. Like,
this is like, people talk about imposter syndrome or people talk about like, who am I or whatever. So with something as long-standing as tarot, was there any of that in you when you were like, I'm going to make my own? I'm going to create my own images. And did you get shit from anybody? Are people like this in this? I have to imagine they are, because people are like this with everything, right? Like, how dare you? Who do you think you are? Like,
yeah, absolutely. I definitely in the beginning, I had been reading cards since I was young, but I hadn't done a lot of, I wasn't even out of the tarot, out of the broom closet, right? For a lot of my life until I was much older. And I did do readings, but I didn't do them in like a big way. I did them casually for so many years. And eventually I did do professional readings. I didn't like it at all. And so it just wasn't a part of who I was online. I was playing with more like a little bit of magic, mystical stuff. Also, I had like a design agency for many years. So I had kind of really like fractioned, is that even the right way to say it? My life, like I was like this person in the day, this person at night sort of thing.
Right. Yeah.
I had like a totally separate Instagram account that I created, which is the Pixie Curio account, which is why it's so horrible for branding and it doesn't have, you know what I mean? Like it's not my name, it's not my ex, because I wanted it to be anonymous when I started it.
Yeah.
And nobody saw it. I didn't connect it to anything else so that I could find the freedom to just create without the worries of what the external world would think, because I had a lot of trouble with external validation when I began. I still have trouble with that. Like, I'm like, let's be honest, but not like I used to.
Right.
And so when I started, there were some people definitely in the tarot community, because it's still small, but it was very small back then, who were kind of like, who is this person out of nowhere, hasn't been in the club for as many years as we have, kind of thing. But I had also been doing my own thing offline. I had my group of people and I did circle, and I used to go to this druid circle with a bunch of, old druids and all, so I had my own magic. It just didn't live in the online space. So I got over that. Yeah.
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 The online space isn't it so weird how actually I feel this similarly with AI, right? Like people being like, oh, is this AI? It's like, yo, some of us have been out here writing forever. Like, just because this tool exists now, like, what the fuck? Like,
Yes.
that I feel the same way about like online. It's like, just because online exists doesn't mean this is the only place.
Right.
Like, everything that predated this still exists. Like,
Exactly.
it is just as valid, like, if not more in a lot of cases, because the online, there's just no way, even people who are very authentic, it's like, there's just no way for anything online to not be at least a little bit performative, because it's a
100%.
place that requires performance.
Yes. 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 I often tell people, like, the most spiritual people I know, they live in the woods. Like, they are not on Instagram.
Totally.
They're like 8 to 10 hours a day in the woods in their craft. And that's how they get to be the most spiritual people I know.
Lucky bastards.
Right?
I crave that a lot.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah,
think,
there's
Elisha?
definitely the online component. I struggle with that a lot. I really do. Even though I show up, and I always find it fascinating because people will say, oh my gosh, you're so brave. You show up so much. I can't, it must be so nice to say everything that's on your mind. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
No idea. You're like, if I said everything that was on my mind, you people would have canceled me forever ago.
Yeah. And on all the sides.
And everyone. For so many reasons. Amazing.
So I definitely still struggle with that. That's like, I think one of my constant, it's like, you know, we have lessons in life, but sometimes our lessons are like, oh, I'm spiraling through them. And oh, I know, like I think the acronym is like AFGO, like another fucking growth opportunity. Like, here we go. Like, here I go again. Same spiral. Same spiral.
Here we go, baby.
Right? Like you keep getting, you know, so that is one of my forever lessons, is to truly, not that and it's not that I don't want to not care, because I'm a caring person, but I just want to be better at being less porous, you know? Yeah.
What I was going to say is, do you think that showing up online is part of that growth edge around
It's
being
such a
in that? Yeah.
Yeah, I've thought about it, because it's kind of like a chicken or egg scenario. Like, is my need to overcome this lesson because I am online? Right?
Right.
I
Totally.
think so.
Yeah. Interesting,
I
isn't
think
it?
so. But then sometimes I do also realize that, like, when I'm holding back, then like what I've found is, when I hold back too much, then it just actually starts to erode my own creative wisdom and my own creativity.
Yeah.
Even though it could be totally different things. It's not like I'm creating to the thing I necessarily even want to speak to. But if I
Right.
don't, then that pulling back my voice starts to, on some level, make me question my own intuitive thoughts, or what it is that I want to say. And so then it just becomes this stifling kind of energy, which then does affect my creative spark. So
Yeah.
there's also this like inner fire that I'm like, I just need to sometimes show up in order to keep things going, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's wild. You know, I think they'll probably look back on our generation of like, we're just like the Wild West of social media still. I mean, we've said that for years, but we're still in the beginning stages of it. And they're going to just be like, wow, like what they went through.
Truly.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, Jessica, who Elisha knows, something that we've been talking about a lot more recently, and I'm curious how this functions for both of you, given what you do both creatively, intuitively, healing, all the things, is being online creates this filter of that I find very intrusive to everyday life experience, which is this like, oh, I can post about this, or oh, maybe this is content, or oh, like I've actually been systematically weaning myself off of that for a couple of years now, because I hate it so much. I hate that here I am living, and this intrusive thing crosses my mind that maybe I should turn this into something for the people of the internet.
I don't have that.
Fuck yeah, I love that.
And you can tell based on my posting. In fact,
and it shows.
In fact, I've recently been invited to be like, Elisha, you could create some content that would help us know you. Interesting. So I am like lacking that.
I don't know that it's a lack, girl.
Well, it's great.
Well, okay. It's interesting.
I wouldn't label it lack. That's, call it whatever you want, but I wish I didn't.
I have that too. I was at a concert last week, and it was the first concert I'd been to in a long time where there was a lot of Gen Xers there, and there wasn't a billion phones.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember
was this that hip hop show you posted?
No, I actually like me in my 50s going to 2 concerts in 1 week.
Okay, girl.
Which doesn't happen normally, but it was a great week.
That's amazing.
It was more like an electronic show. And so there was a lot of different ages, a lot of like Gen X, kind of older millennials, I would say, and a lot of people just dancing. No phones for a lot of it in front of me. And I thought, this is amazing. And I actually had the stupid thought, this is so amazing. I want to take a picture of it to show people how amazing this is. I was like, are you crazy? Like it doesn't. Do you know?
Intrusive.
Right?
I am the person who leaves vacation and like everyone's scrolling back through their pictures and I'm like, I have like the picture when I arrived and like one random shot of my foot somewhere. And I'm like, oh, didn't do that. So
Actually, when I was in Egypt, I was so grateful that some people were really like just getting pictures of everything. And we
yeah,
had a Facebook group where they were sharing it. The minute I saw that was happening, I was like, great,
I don't have to do it.
I'm
Yes.
Yeah.
not going to do
Yeah.
this then.
I am not that person in the group.
I would and the last few years I've definitely been, because I remember, and this was many years ago, hearing that actually it affects your memory of the thing. The minute you are doing it through the screen, it's almost like putting up this filter that's interfering with the snapshot that would live in your
Yeah.
memory bank instead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
We're not in presence, right?
Yeah.
That awe that I think we're blocking our sense of awe in late
Well, and
2020.
flow,
Yeah, for sure.
right? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
In late
Mm.
2024, I had a pretty serious concussion that I couldn't be on screens for, like, seriously not on any screens for 5 to 6 months, but it was about 12 months in total before I could
Oh.
kind of get back up to regular work.
Wow.
And that was such an amazing experience because I had this moment, probably we're 4 or 5 months in, and it was the winter here, and I was walking my dog outside at night, and it started to snow, and I was literally, also my brain was not quite as, I was still not functioning as well as I am now, but I was catching snowflakes, just really in the moment, like that was fun for me. And I had
Yeah.
not done that in so long. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is only because I haven't been on my screen that I can be so in this moment
Yeah.
and enjoy this to this, like this. It was like, it was profound to have that experience of so much presence.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Yeah.
that. My favorite lover dude right now is not a big texter. And it's funny because, some people, all the online, the dating coaches, the this and that, the rules, the standard, this, people will be like, oh, someone who's not a big texter is not for me. I want to hear from you every day. I'm like, I don't. And in fact, I would deeply prefer that us getting to know each other happens breathing the same air, looking at each other, like actually talking. So I've been enjoying it so much that there's just not a lot of chit chat in between other than like some logistics, little flirts here and there. But like,
Right.
and then when we are together, the phone is kind of like down, like there's a presence I've been experiencing with this man that I really haven't in quite a while in all of my, my dating escapades, my sacred slutting, whatever I'm calling it at the moment. But it's I know there's a lot of nostalgia happening, especially for like our generations right now, like especially like the elder millennials, the Gen Xers, and
Yeah.
and this is part of it because we remember. I've been saying for years, like social media creates this illusion of connectivity, but it's actually been one of the things that's separated us more than because we think we're connected, but we're not deeply connected anymore. And we remember ourselves, remember what it was like to like connect,
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
I have a wild theory that maybe I'll try and share because it's wild.
Please, this is the place, ma'am.
This is right. Okay.
Okay, so when you think about like evolution in mammals and this sort of thing, right? I think you get to a certain place where maybe you don't need your herd, right? So certain animals kind of evolve enough so that they can be lone wolves. And I think humans have evolved so much that we think that we're safe or we can survive disconnected from the hive, right?
Right.
And so I spent a long time kind of not angry at the hive mind, but just like, oh, I don't want to be so connected to it. And oh, like all of these, the way we are like, everybody's thinking this. And then the next day, everybody's thinking that. And it feels so like controlled in a way.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of down on that. Like, I want to be not so much in the hive mind, but lately I've been kind of switching up my thinking of it with this idea of evolution and the way we can survive disconnected from community. we're not happy and we're not thriving, but we can survive.
Right.
I almost feel like maybe our addiction to social media goes one step beyond all the dopamine and all the algorithmic things. I actually am wondering lately if maybe that incredible addictive thing that it has on us could also be because we so long to be connected to the hive mind. And it gives
Mm-hmm.
us a sense of that, like when everybody's
Yeah.
going this way and everybody's going that way. So it's almost like
Yeah.
maybe it's teaching us how to be back in a hive mind. And my hope is that eventually we'll just be telepathic and we don't need our cell phones anymore,
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You know?
I think going even further in that or deepening that a little bit, I think a beautiful and also sometimes shadow part, I think for a lot of us, and especially our generation, there was a place where you felt like, oh, the people around me are not like me, right? Like, and so what the internet and what social media has done is allowed you to connect with your likes, right? Across the world, people who have the same interest or similar ideas. And so there's something beautiful about finding the community in this larger webbing. And then there is what happens when we silo always in those ways, right? And I remember after the 2016 election in the US, realizing that it was so shocking for me, devastatingly shocking. But part of that was everybody on my Facebook feed was of a like mind.
Mm.
And so I had really isolated myself from like other opinions or other kind of ideas. So I had no idea what was happening. I wasn't listening. I was really myopic in like very committed to my beliefs, very committed to, the way that I believed things should be happening. And so it was shocking that there were so many people who were of a different mind. And that was really a good moment for me to recognize, while of course I want to be connected to people who are like me, and there's something beautiful about find your tribe and, connect with your peoples and all of those things that I had to pay attention to not just be so isolating myself in the online connection. But it is that place, I think, that what you said about we can survive without each other is such an important piece, because a lot of us have also felt that was a choice that we had to make inside of our maybe familial places or local communities, that there wasn't safety, there wasn't connection, there wasn't support. And so in order to survive, there needed to be a break. But we can't thrive without connectedness. And we have to take more responsibility, I think, though, for the quality of connectedness and the ways of connectedness, and just defaulting to sort of the influencer culture and, I don't know, that the hive mind that not to make everything about a Kardashian, like it's not all the Kardashians' fault, but maybe, sort of the idea of like, what becomes influenced in our beauty standards and this way of like, moving. I've seen several posts this week that I thought were so beautiful about, your own original face and like what's happening with all of this push to not age in a certain way and to, all of the treatments and things. And so I think both and, right? Again, just like the AI conversation, it's like there's so much richness in our own interrogations and our own curiosities about what does this bring up in my life and what does it mean, around how we're engaging with that connectiveness and creating community and staying in it, and what do we need to thrive. And also, I think if it went away tomorrow, we'd be okay.
Oh my God. Do you all, this has happened a couple times over the last few years where like Instagram would be down for a day. And I feel like it was very telling that when Instagram went down, I remember being like, great. Like relief, like I twist my arm to not be on fucking Instagram today. Okay. But some people were like absolutely losing it, as if you had disconnected them from life support.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Chris-Anne,
definitely
okay.
don't think that the way we are connecting to the global community right now is the right way.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just has its grips on us because we want that and we want to understand and we want to kind of, do you know what I mean? The
Yeah.
95% of people on the planet, you know, I really believe
Yeah.
that we want the good thing for everyone, you know, we want
Yeah.
we want to feel good in our bodies. We don't want to be, oh my gosh, like even you were talking about beauty standards, and it is big on my mind lately to see all of the young women now once again being subjected to the Kate Mosses of the world, you know?
Right. Right.
Like huge problem. I'm
Yeah.
still like my brain is still not over that.
What I'm finding even more disorienting, though, is seeing some of these celebrities, which, like, listen, as a person who gained a bunch of weight, especially during the pandemic, and that did actually exacerbate some health things,
Yeah.
right? I've really worked out. I grew up in a very fat phobic family. I've done a lot of work around that. And I've loved myself at every juncture. There's like never been a moment of being like, not loving my body just because I might be weighing a little more or whatever. But and I've recently lost some weight, and some things have just gotten a lot better, right? So I
Mm.
can see like there's certain validity in certain things for certain people, but it's so personal, right? So I use that preface to say what's been disorienting for me is seeing certain celebrities who have always been in bigger bodies now suddenly absolutely tiny, and it's like, where'd they go?
Mm.
Right? And it's like, if this was for health reasons and you feel better, like, right? Because, like, they don't owe it. Like, we don't need to know all your business,
Right.
right? But some of you were the representation that made some people feel like their existence in their body was okay.
Mm.
And this, I understand why some people are experiencing it as a betrayal. But and
Mm.
I also understand that some of these people feel like they might have to make this choice for the longevity of their career and whatever. So it all just always points back to these stupid fucking systems that
Right.
can't just let people live and be and breathe and age, like do everything that we're supposed to be doing naturally, you know?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Everything does not require an intervention, and the intervention is not necessarily the thing that everyone should want if they can even afford it, or it's available to them or accessible in whatever way, you know? That
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
I don't even know how to reconcile it. It's just obviously I'm in process with how I even feel about it, but
Of
it's
course.
it's a little crazy making.
It is
Yeah.
crazy. It makes me I get pretty angry at the systems. I always, my brain, I tend to like I mean, I do tend to go to like the patterns in, you know, what I see, like so many of us do, right? And I see these like I actually, I'm like, do I want to get canceled today? Am I going to say this? Yeah, I'm going to say it. But I actually think that there was some sort of top down, like big, huge companies that own other big, huge companies that all decided, okay, COVID, everyone's online. Let's do positivity for 5 years and then like drop the
Bam.
mosaic. Like it's
Yes.
impossible that happened across the board all at once. I just don't see that
Yes.
as, because if it was one company, let's like choose any the Gap, H&M, whatever it is. If one company decided to change their models like that in 1 year, they would get canceled. But it wasn't one company,
Mm.
right? It was like all of them. So it's just
Mm.
something in my brain
Mm.
says,
Right.
this is money, you know?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. And
And
control.
And why are we
and
falling for it?
control.
'Cause
This is actually what I think the pendulum swing is about. Right?
Right.
It's what it reminds me of is actually growing up. I grew up with like very encouraging parents who were like, you could do whatever you want, you could be whatever you want. And then as like started getting into an age where I could make my own choices, they'd be like, not like that. Right? Like, ooh, but now you're being bigger than we thought you would. And now you're like making choices we're not comfortable with. And
Right.
I think that's part of Chris-Anne, like what you're pointing to, that it was like, great body positivity, great inclusion, whatever. And then people were like, whoa, 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 whoa. Women are getting a little too comfortable and not insecure enough. We gotta
too
we
much
gotta
power
reel
over
this
there.
shit back in. The hell? These bitches are like themselves now?
How
That's
dare
not
they?
comfortable. Yeah.
Like lipstick
I don't
sales are
know.
down. Can't have that, you know?
Cannot have
No.
that.
But it
Yeah.
really is like, it's so true. I'm sure we've all seen posts here and there that are like, if women of certain age groups are not collectively decided, we're not doing makeup, we're not doing shape, or we're not doing it, we would shut down industries.
Oh, yeah.
We could shut down entire industries overnight.
Yeah.
But not enough people are ever going to be, I don't believe, enough people are ever going to be able to unhook from like the claws and the depths those claws have a hold of
Right.
all the shit, right? Patriarchy,
Yeah.
misogyny, capitalism, white supremacy, all the things. That shit's too fucking deep in some of us.
Yeah.
We see it
I feel
now,
like we
though.
might need to have a
Sorry.
part 2 conversation just in liberation here. Like,
Oh, yeah, yeah. We can,
Yeah.
will you come back?
Of course. Yeah, this has been
I love-
great.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Because I feel like there's also more creative things. There's always, the time always flies.
It flies
So I will,
too fast.
I'll do my favorite like ending question always since I've been interviewing people. Is there anything we didn't ask you that you were like, oh, I really hope we talk about this?
Oh, you know what? I'm just so happy to be here and get to like go deep and also laugh with you too. So I just want to say thank you for that. It's not always a common, you don't get to laugh and go deep with that many people. So I am so grateful.
So
Yeah.
good. Okay, I have a last question though.
Great.
Okay. Out of the major arcana, what do you like, which card would you say is most important for us right now? Like of those core archetypes.
Oh my goodness.
This is why I love this one line bitch.
Oh,
So good.
oh my gosh. So, I mean, we're in the Wheel of the Year and the Magician. So this year in particular, we can be paying attention to those specific, like numerologically, that's where we are.
Yeah.
But you know what? If I'm just going to speak plainly, like what I actually think would help everyone, if we would just step into the sun a little bit and not be afraid of our joy and not look at every single person who's experiencing a moment of positivity and wonder like if they're being fake or if it's toxic or all of those things that come up, you know, like if we could just look at the sun and enjoy it, I think we would all move through this a lot faster.
I fucking love that. And you actually just set up the next topic that Elizabeth and I want to talk about, which is this bullshit about adulting and self-help as this kind of serious, suppressive, dominating message that's still out there. So I fucking love that. And is the sun the first, is that number 1? Or is that like, what card is that? 20.
No,
20?
No, it's not 20. Oh my gosh. My brain.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No.
20 judgment.
Of the
Stars, 17, 18, 19, not 20. 19.
19. Oh, gorgeous.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Well, Chris-Anne, thank you so much, everyone listening. I know I think I had messaged you on Instagram. I'm like, I know one of my clients who reads tarot is like, oh, my favorite deck is Light Seers. And I'm like, we're going to have her on the show. So I definitely know at least
awesome.
one person is very excited you were here aside from the two of us. But I'm sure it will be many more than that because this was such a beautiful chat. Thank you
I love
so
that.
much.
And please come back. Let's do more chatting. So
We'll do more.
Gemini's Unite.